All right. So, hey, Uncle Aaron here. Today, I wanted to do a short discussion surrounding the current mortgage market conditions and how a mortgage company, whether you're a broker or a lender, can how you can save time and save money through the use of a contract processing company. And so today, I've got the honor of interviewing Samantha Gilbert, the owner of Ops Perfection. They are a contract mortgage processing company that serves many clients across multiple states. What's up, Samantha?
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm making it happen. That's what I'm doing.
You always are.
Yeah. So thanks for joining me today to talk about the market and how contract processing is really actually helping, mortgage companies streamline costs and kind of how contract processing allows even like a mortgage originator the opportunity to focus in on getting that laser focus on just staying maintained on getting loans, right? Versus handling the detailed, can I use the word process? I guess
Yeah.
of getting a file ready for underwriting. I can use it if I go that route. So Samantha and I have had the pleasure of working together for a few years now, and Samantha is somebody that I find to be on top of it, man. She knows what's going on in the industry. She is growing her business. She is focused on her clients, very dedicated to them, very efficient. And so, Samantha, after saying all those beautiful things about you,
I know. Thank you.
what do you have to say about me? No, I'm just kidding. First of
I-
all, can you tell us like what types of clients can you serve as a contract processing company and what exactly do you do to serve those clients? Can you kind of break that down for us? If I was a mortgage brokerage company or whatever looking at your services, can you tell us a little bit about what you guys can do for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with multiple different kinds of companies. There's usually three. So we have our retail, credit unions, banks. Then we have the mortgage broker. And then we have a pool of correspondent mortgage brokers that they have their own bank lines, they fund their own loans, but then they do sell to investors with on the mortgage side. So with that, we run differently for each company. So it really depends on what the needs are. We call it a la carte, but we kind of build what they need out for them on an operational side and fit into their systems that they have currently, and then build out new systems to improve on what they have and improve their efficiency. So for credit unions, a lot of times with them, we'll take they gear up for the refinance booms. And they all, this year is funny, they all thought we were going to have that. So they, they were all calling us in. They usually have their own in-house people, but for refinance booms, they hire outside because they don't want to be limited to having to hire and then fire. So they'll bring us in, we fit into their systems of what they need. And then we work in process from beginning to end with them. On our mortgage broker side, which is one of my favorites. We work with multiple mortgage brokers, and what we can do for them is allow them to go out, get business, not have to deal with the day-to-day of payroll, of compliance with employees, knowing the state labor laws, and they don't have to have that big cost. So with processing and with operations, it's a fixed cost. You don't really get your money back out of it. It also hits it hits their business. So they have to add that in. So it's a big cost for them. With us, with contract processing, we charge directly to the consumer. So it's not something that they pay for. Basically, they're getting a processing, operations, compliance all in one without having to pay for it. So it definitely takes that stress off of them. Trying to run a business and having this huge cost brings on more stress. And when you're stressed, you're not efficient out in the marketplace building your business.
Right.
We relieve that from them. I have a great team. We study guidelines. We're on every single training call that there is out there with lenders. We make sure that we're up to pace on what's going on in the marketplace, what kind of loans there are, what new products are being released. And I do a lot of training with people that are coming over from the retail side into broker side. I do a lot of training with them on the differences and how to better build their employees and better build their business as well.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so we have that. And then we have correspondent. So correspondent, again, is when you have your own bank line. For them, we put together, we do the same thing. So we do everything that we would do for a mortgage broker, but we also do a compliance piece at the end. So we order wires and we fund those loans, and we work with the banks and the borrowers to collect all post-closing conditions to get it bought off the line. So
Wow.
yeah,
Got
it's a
the
lot. It's
dynamic
a
going
lot.
on over there at Ops Perfection. How about that?
Yeah, yeah. We definitely have some great systems in place to make sure everything moves smooth and efficient.
I wanted to go back. Actually, you said something. Actually, I think it was. I don't want to. I don't want to just breeze over it. I'm thinking like based on what you just said about hire fire, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going back to like 2020 and 2021, and certainly you've been in the business as long as I have, or I probably have been in longer though. Um, uh, I've got a joke to go with that, but I'm gonna leave it alone right here. But so the point is that I'm trying to make is the hire fire scenario. So you go back to 2020, 2021, right? And the market it was an anomaly, right?
Yeah.
How in the world the pandemic somehow created this housing frenzy is beyond all imagination, possibility. So, but point is, uh, we had originators doing, I mean, just massive numbers, right? And so you had companies go out there, and what did they do? They hired. I mean, all they couldn't keep up. So they just hired this massive number of processors. I don't know. We used to call them case openers, or you know, and all these other people in the operations side, the underwriters and everything. Well, what happened when 2022 hit and the Fed slammed the brakes on the mortgage market because the housing market's just out of control, and they basically doubled the rates in 3 months. Production completely came to a halt, right?
Yeah.
And then it took a couple of months for us to kind of get our feet under us. Okay, is this the new norm? Which was the words that we were all using, and now we realize, yeah, it is. And so that being said, the market has changed drastically, and so we've seen record numbers. Like I think 2021 was $4.3 trillion in mortgage production, and then you go back to 20. Did I say that? Did I say 23? I meant 21. And then 2023, we did 1.4 trillion. Now,
Yeah.
it's still a lot of 1.4 trillion is still a lot of business, right? But my point in saying that is if production was cut, to a third of what it was at the highest peak ever, right? And it was the highest peak. So if any of you out there felt like you fell off of a cliff, you did. It was the highest peak we ever hit. Okay, we all fell off a cliff. But that being said, what's happened in the marketplace? Operations have been cut. So we're seeing companies cut processors and underwriters and everybody that was associated with generating, or doing the ops side of lending. But on the
Yeah.
production side, we're still hiring because we're looking for that next gem or whatever it may be. So that being said, what I didn't want to gloss over is that those are instances where, as an organization, you don't have to put your neck out there and hire when you've got third parties out there that can pick up the slack, right? I know
Exactly.
a long way to say that, but that's really, I just didn't want to gloss over that because that happens in our industry way too often, right? And so, we have our peaks, we have our valleys, and to have an outlet to go to when we've got too much business and not have to hire is a real benefit. And then when business is slow, you're not on my payroll.
Right.
So that doesn't affect me. So anyway, I know I went a long way to go there, but
Yeah, I actually learned that philosophy from credit unions. They've done a great job of that. They have the lowest amount of layoffs because they don't just hire when they're busy. They outsource. And they
interesting.
outsource to third parties and they build those relationships with the third parties. So it's not like they're bringing in people that they don't know or people overseas. They're bringing in people that they know, they like, and they trust
Right.
to do it. year over year. So every year we have contracts with them. So it's the same people, it's the same, same process. We all know their process. But it's definitely been a change with what happened in 2022,
Right.
2021 with the brokers and them following the same steps as what credit unions have always been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned, staying on top of guidelines and understanding all these different products. Are there any limitations from well, we'll just use your company as an example, and it's probably pretty standard across the marketplace, but are there limitations to what a contract processing company can do for a mortgage broker, mortgage lender, credit union, bank?
The only limitations are depending on who you hire. So if you hire a company that doesn't take on certain programs, or if you hire a company that doesn't know certain programs, then yes, then they have limitations. Us, Ops Perfection, we do not. I actually go out to all of the lender shows. I go to NAM every year. I go to all the big ones. I go to AIM and learn, right? So everything's about learning. The market is ever changing. There's always new products. There's always new lenders coming into the industry. And I stay up to date on guidelines and programs, and we make sure that we know the ins and outs of them so that when our brokers come to us with a loan, we don't have to turn it down. We can say, yeah, we have a home for that. We know exactly where to send it, and we know the guidelines and how to get them done. So yeah, there isn't a loan. I always say, before you turn down a loan, let us look at it because there's probably a home for it.
Right. Nice. Now, you and I did a previous video as well. Someone may have seen that video or maybe not. I don't know. But one of the questions I asked you, which I think is probably relevant to this video we're doing here, is how do you manage processing loans when there are multiple LOSs out there? So, can you explain to our listeners how that might work for them? Because if I'm on a lending pad and somebody else is on a different LOS, how do you guys handle that as a contract processor?
So we actually, I have a contract processing version of Lending Pad, which half of my loan officers are in. And then I also have Arrive, which most of the other ones are in. For credit unions, they have their own built out LOS system. So they set us up with logins and we use theirs. One of the biggest things coming onto this side versus on retail that processors and loan officers have a learning curve on is we have multiple systems. You have to learn multiple systems. But once you're in them, once you're doing them, then you get used to it, just like anywhere else. Same with the lenders. All lenders have different systems that you have to learn as well. So yeah, we subscribe to all of the popular LOS systems out there to make it easy for our loan officers. All they have to do is assign us to the loans that they want us to process.
Nice, nice. So, it would probably be beneficial if I asked you, if there was somebody was watching this video right now, and they were a mortgage broker owner, or maybe even just a mortgage loan originator processes their own loans, you could still serve that person, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as their broker's on board.
Okay. So how then, if somebody was watching this and they wanted to discuss contract processing with you and maybe utilize your services, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you to set up a meeting?
Very easy. You can get a hold of me at www.ops-perfection.com. All of my contact information is on there. It's not an 800 number. It's my direct cell phone line. You can call, text, Facebook me. There's a system on there where you can set up an appointment for a call if you would rather do that. But I am always available nights, weekends, days. I work on your schedules. I know you guys are out there, boots to the ground, getting your business. I'm here to support. So you can always contact me.
You are a brave girl.
Yeah, I've been in the business a long time.
Now also, I'm thinking, I'll bet you some people stumble upon, I can't talk all of a sudden, this video, and they'll be loan processors themselves. And, maybe they're one of those people that are seeing the writing on the wall, or maybe they were recently let go and they're looking for another opportunity. If that were the case, um, is that somebody you would have an interest in speaking with at some point?
Absolutely. Yes. We're always looking for great talent. And that's not always in how long you've been processing. So I love training. I love working with new processors and getting them to the peak. It's personality, right? So you can't have call reluctance. You have to go above and beyond every day. You have to be there and help loan officers build their business and know that that's what we're here for. We're here to make sure they're out in the field and not dealing with the day to day. So yes, if you have the right personality and you're looking for that change or that start, yeah, I would absolutely love to talk to you.
This is I'm throwing you a softball here, but maybe a curveball. Um, what makes a good processor?
Personality, right? That can-do attitude, wanting to build that rapport with the borrowers and help them know that we're in the business of helping people become first-time home buyers that are stressed and confused and don't know everything, and just being there to help and support them on that. And also know that the loan officers, they have a tough job getting out there in that field every day and making those calls and bringing in the business. The last thing that we want is somebody who doesn't understand that part. We want to make sure that that processor is building that rapport with that loan officer, making sure that they're able to be out in the field and that they build that trust and that they like them. So that's what I look for. I look for personality. I look for that can-do attitude. I am not, I don't do that's not my job. Everything's our job. We're operations. We are the back. We're sitting here in an office. Everything is our job.
Right.
So that's what I look for. As long as you have that personality, I can train on anything else.
Right. And I always tell people too, you know, don't get into the mortgage industry if your doctor told you to find something that, where you could take it, you know,
Yeah.
it's not one of those jobs. I mean, you got to be laser focused and on top of things. And, so no doubt about that. It
Yeah.
moves at 1,000 miles an hour around.
Yep, there's a lot of ups and downs for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
but it's very rewarding.
Yeah. So, if I were on the fence about whether or not I should hire another processor or use a contract processing company like Ops Perfection as an example, what would you advise me considering the current market environment? I know we kind of already touched on that, but still, I just want to kind of go back to that again if I could. You know, I'm thinking
Yeah.
about hiring another processor, you know, but I might be able to sway to use a third party contract processor. What would you say to me?
I'd say if you're on the fence, that it's not something that's in your budget. So hiring a third-party contract processing company is definitely beneficial for you. And just remember, so if you hire a processor, firing them is not that easy if they're not the right fit for you, right? There's labor laws you have to meet, and it's not an easy process. So firing someone who's not the right fit on the contract processing side is just means you don't send them any more loans. There's no contracts. There's no, you have to use them. There's no, at least for me, I can't speak for other contract processing companies, but I don't do contracts. I don't say you have to send a certain amount of volume. I work with people that send me loans here and there. I work with people that don't do that much business. I work with people that do a ton of business. I'm here to support you in whatever way works for your business. But if you use us for that, there's no firing, there's no labor cost, there's no any of that. So you can say, well, this isn't working out, this isn't a good fit, and move on. Or you can say, this is great, this is perfect, and I have no cost. I have to pay nothing. It's perfect. Those are the benefits of not having to hire. And then you're also taking, so I have a team and I've been in management for many years. I managed underwriting, closing, processing, all of the roles I've managed. So it's also taking that stress off you. You don't have to manage a processor and make sure they're in the office and make sure they're actually working, or if they're home, make sure they're actually being productive. That's something that gets put off on me. I get to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for answering my curveball question.
Yeah.
So, as promised out of the gate, I was going to try to keep this short and to the point. I think we accomplished that goal. So, to that, I want to say how much I appreciate you and your willingness to share with our audience. I wish you nothing but continued success and continued growth, Samantha. You guys are doing an amazing job out there at Ops Perfection. By the way, again, I will place all of your contact information in the video description below. And of course, if anyone needs me, Uncle Aaron, I'm here for you too. So, have a great rest of your day. Those of you guys that are
Great.
watching us out there on YouTube land.